Hey guys, if anyone's there, we should be live now. Let me know as always how the audio is. Make sure everything's alright. I've got Georgia here as well. George, good evening, good sir. Hope you're doing well. First, well, yeah. Apart from the fact that I was testing out the commands before that, but yeah, I'll give you the first there. You were the first person. Okay. So I have got a few bits that I need to do first, just before we get into the stream proper. So I'll wait for people to join up for the bot to ping. But effectively, I'm just moving keycaps from a Brutal 60 over onto my the Secret 60 that I borrowed. So this is the IDB 60 prototype. And then we're going to look at GMK Shoko on that board. We've got Natty as well. Hey Natty. We are prepping for GMK Shoko to go on the Brutal 60. Just for you. These are tangerines, yes. These are matcha phase. Basically the same switch, just different colours. This board is mad nuts. I don't know how well you guys can see this here, but there is mad flex on this board. Hey Anarchy, how you doing, man? Good to see you, dude. There is absolutely mad flex on this. Even on the top row, it's just crazy all over. I'll show you guys properly once we've got some keycaps on, because you can use them for reference. But as I say, it's not my board. It is one that I've borrowed to take to Seattle. But we'll be getting a nice build on there. Nice shirt, by the way. Thank you. This is the Dixie Mech Mecha shirt. There we go. Who else have we got? Natty says, lovely, appreciate my man, no problem, anything for you, my boo. Ganjemi says, hey man. Hey man to you too. Nice shirt, yeah. I'm Mechanist, which I think that's Leandrin, so he's saying oi, so oi back. And WGMPC saying hello as well. Hello, man. So we're just at the minute moving GMK Modern Dolch or Modo over from the Brutal 60 onto the Secret 60, which is the IDB prototype. And then we're going to get GMK Shoko on here, which I think is the... I think I've not seen anyone else with pictures of it yet. Quantum Butt, what a great band name that is. Quantum Butt. Zvi as well, and John O'Warren, good evening. Can you please take a look at the Dolch CR and tell us what you think? If you post a link up, my dude, I will take a look at it on stream. Tronics as well, saying hello. Good afternoon, Tronics. Nice to see you. And Rope as well, here as always. The usual crowd are here. Okay. As I say, I'm just going to remove all of these keycaps, move them over onto the Secret 60, and then we'll get GMK Shoko out, and we'll take a look at the board. But we'll take a look at the Secret 60, and then we'll take a look at Shoko on the board, because this board is nutty. It is absolutely crazy. So I do definitely want to show you guys that. Then once we've done that, we'll be building the Prophet, taking a look at the new ink switches. I'll actually be using one of the new ink switches in the build as well. Whoops. For my spacebar. Need to get my feet on the stream now. Awaiting delivery. I think I remember what the Dolch CR is. Let me just have a quick look. Oh yeah, it's lovely. I love the old retro style boards. I'm really on the fence about the Jer A80 at the minute. I'm really on the fence about that. I can't really afford it with going to Seattle in just a month's time, but I would like to be able to have one of them. Amir here's as well with the sub saying, can you do a Yulia lick on the Brutal 60 please? No, probably not. Maybe we should send it to Yulia to lick. Maybe I should have her lick all my keyboards as like a stamp of approval. Okay, Mechanist Leandrin saying, can you say how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? There you go. How much wood? How much wood? See, you've spelt it wrong here because you put the wrong wood in there. It's how much wood as in wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. So you've got the wrong wood in the first sentence, I think. But yeah, there you go. I thought that was all right. Alchemist KB saying good, looking good, Jay. Thank you very much. Yes, you might recognise this board, my dude. This is actually Alchemist KB's board. This is the guy that I borrowed it from, Satanicist, also known as Satanicist. Yeah. Taliban Solutions with his customary 1,111 bits. Thank you very much, my dude. Appreciate that. Everyone's saying thank you, sir. There we go. Well, apparently I got an emote thanks to Talisman's Mega Cheers. There we go. Thank you. Fair play, fair play. One Creative Minds here as well. Met Advice Guy. I hope that you're having a good evening. I am. Watched the F1 earlier on. Had a nice dinner with the wife. And now I'm building a keyboard for you lovely folks. And looking at other key sets and everything else as well. So just to give a rundown again on activities today, we're going to be swapping this key set, which is Modern Dolch, over to the Secret 60, which I'll show you guys in a minute, which is a very, very flexible build board. Once we've done that, we're then going to have a look at the new ink switches, and that's the coloured ink, so that's the red one, the yellow and the blue. We'll then be putting, in between that we'll be putting GMK Shoko on this board, because I've got GMK Shoko in. And then the final thing we'll be doing is we're building the Prophet, which is from Cable Car Designs, Max of Cable Car Designs, who might not be watching. We're going to build that with a nylon half plate, which is absolutely insane. It's just crazy that it's nylon, crazy that it's a half plate, and we'll be doing that in HHKB layout with one slight modification. And no, it's not ISO. I won't be building it ISO. I will be building it with the ANSI Enter, but I will be splitting left shift like this is here. And we'll also be doing some logo infill on that board as well. Before we do the build, we're going to do some really quick logo infill. I'm going to show you guys how I do that with some black 3.0. Talisman saying, I like the desk mat. This desk mat is actually from mykeyboard.eu, which you can see up here. These guys are amazing. They're fantastic. It was also run on Novel Keys in the US, and it's for GMK Metropolis, which isn't out yet, but it is to match the key set when that arrives. Is that the Secret 60 with the 1.2mm PCB as well? It is, yes. It's the 1.2mm PCB version instead of the 1.5mm version. Yes, you are right on that one, Rob. Have you been converted into a Flexi Boy? Do you know what? Right, this board at the meetup started to convince me that Flex might be something that I needed to consider more often. And then I built my Brutal 60 as well. That kind of started to make me go down that route. I think I still prefer firm boards overall, but it is really nice to try different things. So yeah, I know that's the wrong key for the language, but we'll be all right. A couple of keys that don't fit on this board because I'm using different colours or it's a slightly different layout. I'm just going to move those off to one side. I'll pop them away later. Met Advice Guy is waiting for my Metro desk pad. Feels bad, man. Oh, it's one of those things, man. Mine came Thursday, I think, just before the show. Rob is typing one of these right now. Good for you, man. Good for you. No, ISO equals unfollow. Oh, I'm sorry, man. We've got a couple of ISO boards here. You can see these two. And I will be doing a Prophet build in ISO at some point as well. It's just, I've got two builds for it. This first one is just going to be the nylon half plate, as I was more interested in that. But I'll talk about the other build as well. Okay. Met Advice Guy subscribed at tier 1, subscribed for 6 months, and built my first ISO board last Thursday. Please send help. I cannot figure out how to use it. You'll get there, man. Stick with it. Stick with it. George saying he's hoping that Dracula adds coding orientated mods. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd like to see that in Nord as well. I think I personally prefer Nord rather than Dracula. Oops. But both are really nice. 159 and Sergi Emond both subscribing. Sergi with the 2 month subs now, thank you very much. 159 with the tier 3 sub for 8 months, saying hey boo, hey man, good to see you. Did I show Shoko yet already? No, I'm taking the keycaps off this board and putting them on here. Then we'll look at this board, which is a Secret 60. Which is basically the prototype for the IDB 60. Once that's done, I'll be putting Shoko on this board. Then once that's done, we'll be doing some logo infill on the Prophet. And then once we've done that, we'll be building the Prophet so that paint's dry by the time we finish the build. And somewhere in between all that, we'll also take a look at the coloured inks as well. Okay, it's almost there now, guys. Just about getting there with this now. Come on. Sometimes these wire pullers are just terrible. I wouldn't call it brutal flexy, but it certainly has a soft bottom out. Yeah, that's fair. It depends on how tight you do the mount points up and how much flexibility you leave in the O-rings, because it's got, I think it's 3 or 4 mount points along the back there, and each one's got a rubber O-ring above and below the PCB where it screws on. Okay. ISO Army is here, yeah. Nothing wrong with any layout, guys. If you like your layout, you stick with it. More power to you. Whether that's ISO or anything else. Max Surfy's here as well. I think this is the guy that I need to reach out to about some renders. I hope it is. Because I'm not the only person. Come on. Try and get this last one up. There we go. Why did you mention Nord, Jay? I want Nord 2 now. Heck, how did I miss it? Yeah, so Nord is kind of like a bit of a muted version of Dracula. It's really nice. It's a great IDE theme as well. Just remove the last of these keycaps here. There we go. Okay, and the ISO as well. Okay, so this is the Secret 60 or the IDB 60. This is designed by Pingu, and quite a few people in the EU have them. I don't, because he ignored me when I asked for one, so I'm now in the IDB 60 group buy. The difference between this version and the actual version that's going to group buy, though, is that this version has a 1.2mm PCB. The group buy one has a 1.5mm PCB. But what I want to do is just show you guys how crazy the flex is. So, for example, this is me pushing the keycap down. So that's the keycap down, that's the keycap pressed, it's bottomed out, and if you look at this flex here, just how much that flex is in the middle. It's really difficult to show you guys, but this is just absolutely crazy. This might be a good key to show you actually, because it's a large key. So that's fully pressed, and then that's how much it goes in. So you can see that that's the key bottoming out there, and then that's just how much flex is in the PCB. It's just absolutely crazy, and that's on every key, no matter where you press in the board. It's really difficult to show you guys this. I'll try and get an angle so you can see, but that's the key depressed, and then that's the flex that's in there as well. It is really, really, I mean, you guys must be able to see that bouncing. If you look carefully, you should be able to see that bouncing. You see that bouncing there? You should be able to see all this row of keycaps just bending inwards. Anyway, you can see it like that as well. Yeah, it's really, really crazy. Really, really crazy. You can switch the bottom of the case if you press down right in the middle. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if you could. It's really flexible. You guys should be able to see that bounce. It looks like it's warping out of existence. It's crazy, crazy. Anyway, I want to show you that, guys, that because if you haven't already got on one of these, as I say, it's a really nice, simple board. It was dirt cheap as well, even in the group buy. Really, really cheap, really cleverly designed. So yeah, so there we go. Anyway, that's that with Modern Ultra, and that's now ready for the Seattle meetup. But what we're going to do next is put GMK Shoko on this board, which I know a few of you have been interested in. A couple of people have messaged me about this. I'm interested in it too. I'm excited to see how this will look. But this is GMK Shoko. I don't know of anyone else who's got this yet, apart from the mykeyboard.eu people. So again, big thanks to them again. But this is GMK Shoko. Let's catch up with chat and see what you guys have been talking about. Also, 60% is horrible. Met advice guy, you need to just get with the times. You'll be alright. You'll be fine. Big fan of Nord, yeah. They're talking about the keycap set. Camp Dracula, yeah, okay. I love them both, but Dracula's more purple. Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. It's going to snap. Nah, we'll be all good. It's honestly the nicest feeling board that you own by a long way. Yeah, Gems, it does feel really flexible. It's just crazy how much bounce there is in that. It's just mental. Yeah, you can see it like that as well. Yeah, you can see when I was pressing it in the middle. It was some great flex. It's massively flexible. It's the most flexible build I've tried, to be honest with you. Looking forward to the 1.5mm plate. Never tried a flexi board before, so maybe better for me starting with a light flex. It's actually more flexible than the than things like the GSKT00, the gasket. It's even more flexible than that. It's just absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. That looks unhealthy to me. Sorry, yeah, it's a little bit too soft for me, I'd say, but it did really bring my eyes to what a soft board could be, and I'm hoping that when we build the Prophet later on, we'll find something that's more mid-ground for me. Now that Flex gets so big in the custom community, I wonder if it'll swap to Ultra Ergo Niche too. Maybe, we'll see. This is what happens when I switch from my Corn to a normal board. Shoko, best GMK set of 21st century. It is really nice. It is really, really nice. Sorry, I'm saying Hamon is better than Shoko. I disagree. Quantum Butt, should I get Nord or Dracula? Both. Why not both? TZLer's getting his Shoko on Tuesday. Yep, nice. Personal preference for yeah, everyone likes things with different things. The only thing that matters in Hamon is NA. Well, this is GMK Shoko. Let's show you guys the set. So whilst I've taken the cover off these before, I haven't actually mounted them on anything. Oops. Typical GMK trays falling apart within 5 seconds. Now this one doesn't want to come out. Typical. And then it falls apart. Anyway. There we go. If this decides it's going to come apart properly. There we go. Okay, so this is GMK Shoko. It's hard to say just how nice this is. It is lovely and subtle. The colour's fairly accurate on camera from what I can see on my screen here, but obviously your screens are going to differ. It is slightly more bluish than grey. Let me hold the key up to the other camera, just so you can kind of see the difference in colour the two cameras give you. So that's kind of the colour you see in this camera, and then here is the colour you see here. So it is slightly different. It's a little bit more of a robin's egg blue if the guys from Top Clack are watching, but it is really genuinely a lovely colour. So this is the set. With the set you also get the rest of the UK keys and another 6U spacebar. Really nice. But you also get the modifier keys. So these are the accent keys and the F keys. Just hold these up so you can see, which are a really nice bright but pale blue at the same time. The legend is easier to read than the camera is showing you on here. It's a lot easier to see than what the camera suggests. So I don't know if this camera is going to make it any easier to see what the legends are. No, it's probably even worse on there. But the legends are much more legible on real life than what they appear on camera. So there we go. My hay fever is still going nuts, so I do apologise. Talisman gifting a sub to Boy314. Thank you very much, dude. 164 gift subs in this channel. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Pretty happy with Necro. I only got bullied a bit at the meetup about it. Yeah, well, it is Necro. If I were to pick the set that I would prefer over Shoko, it would be muted. Yes, I have muted on a board somewhere. Where's muted? I don't know what board it's on. It's on a board somewhere. I do have muted. In fact, it might not even be on a board at the minute. You got me questioning now, guys. I don't even think I've got muted on a board right now. But I do have it somewhere. GMK really need to fix their trays. Yep. Yeah. Ignatsar, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub. So I'm going to go without the accent keys apart from the ISO, enter and the escape key actually. So we won't do those. I'll put the rest of the keycaps on and then we'll see how it looks on the board. We do have UK keycaps, so I will put the UK ones on. Like I say, this is the first time this set's been mounted. I have taken a picture of the board and the keycap set by the side of each other, but this is the first time they've actually been next to each other. Okay. Is a bit Nord stylish as well. There we go. Again, you can see the flex on this board as well there. GMK trays at their best, says Rope. Yeah, they're not the best. They're not the best. The ones I got the other day that I showed off on stream from Tao, they're really nice. If anyone wants to see one of those at the end of the stream, just give me a shout and I'll grab one. They're only over there. And they've all got key sets in now, so I can grab a couple and show you what key sets look like when laid out in them. I would love to know what field Talisman Solution works in. Need to do the same for my wallet's sake. Yeah, Talisman's amazing. He's a massive supporter, and we thank him for everything he does for the channel. Why can sets like this not be made in SA, which I prefer to GMK? Reach out to Shoko, man. Maybe he'll do SA Shoko. You never know. Jay, do you have a carbon fibre plate 2 for the Brutal? I do, but I've not built with it yet. Maybe at some point. GMK sets do sell better, yes, you're right. But there's no reason why this colourway couldn't be running SA. It would be perfectly fine for it. I think we need stepped caps, which is just up here. Someone pinging me on Discord there. I can hear it bleeping at me. Okay. So I think you'll agree with me that this is starting to look really good on this board. It fits it really well. Behemoth, this isn't the profit. We've not got to that part of the stream yet. I'm just showing off a new keycap set at the moment, but we'll be getting into the build shortly. J80 group buys up. Am I going to join? I really want to Gloobazoid. I really, really want to. But I have my trip to Seattle coming up next month for the meetup there, which is going to be hella expensive. I need the UK keycap for that one. So it's a bit of a unknown for me at the minute, and I need to work out whether I can afford to with Seattle and everything else. I think it's going to cost me about $3,500 in total to visit Seattle, which is kind of expensive for the trip, especially when I'm only going to see about keyboards. So we'll see. We'll see. I would like to. It is a lovely board, and I would love to own one. So if I can, I will. Since we're on the subject on GMK, I think GMK Space Cadet. Yes, I have GMK Space Cadet. It's nice. It's not my favourite GMK set, I'll be honest. Is this the shift key we need? Nope. We do need this one. Just going to bust out the ISO keys from in here. We need the 2 and the 3. We'll also need the pipe key for just down by shift. Big props to Shoko for including UK ISO in this set. Massive thanks for that. And I'm just going to bust out the keycaps we need from in here as well. So these lead up to the ISO enter, and then we'll just bust out the ISO enter as well, and I think we get a blue escape. We do, it's here. There we go. Right, now I need a 1U FN key. I'm sure there will be one in here somewhere. There's the shift key I need. There's the FN key, and then we can get on with the bottom row. So I need the 7U spacebar as well. There we go. And then we've got the Sangan bottom row on this board as well. So, whoops, managed to catch that. Not throwing it on the floor. Okay, just about done now, guys. And there we go. This is GMK Shoko on the Brutal 60. Quite possibly one of the best looking key sets I own. I think this is absolutely stunning. It's more than I ever expected it to be, and I quite possibly think this might be my key set of the year so far. So this is just really, really good. It's such a lovely board. It's such a great key set. Looks fantastic in this colourway. I'll hold it up to the camera just so you can see it in different light, so you guys can see in shadow and in light, that's just kind of how it looks, which might be a little bit different to what this camera's showing it, just so you can get a better idea of the colour representation. But man, yeah, I really love this board, and I really love this this colourway. I think Shoko is a bit of a winner. So there you go, guys. Let me know in chat what you think to GMK Shoko. I'm just going to pop that there and hope nothing falls over. Let's catch up with chat, see what we're talking about. GMK also have a higher MOQ, so selling better is not an issue. That's true. I just switched to my Discord thinking I was pinged too. My phone did definitely ping. Oh, it was an Instagram message. So there we go. It wasn't anything I need to answer now. West Foxtrot is here as well. Building your board soon, dude. CC, never mind. NCC. I don't even know what you're talking about there. What, Max? Speaking of meetups, any thoughts of joining other meetups in the EU area? Maybe around the September time. Maybe. We'll see. We will see. We'll see. I know which one you're referring to, and we'll see. I'm also going to be running a meetup in the UK, I think, towards the end of October, so we'll see how that goes as well. Shoko ran in November of something like last year. Yeah, it was quite late last year, I think, early this year maybe. I think it ran over a little bit. Not too large on the accent colour, but the base and mods I like a lot. Yeah, the accent colour is much better in real life than it appears on there. It's a little bit brighter, and the legends are a lot easier to read than they are on camera, I will be honest. What shelves are those in the background? These are shelves that I had made for me, so they're quite custom. Are the accents close to the modern Dolch accents? So I can actually show you that. So this is the modern Dolch accent here on the side. So as you can see, it's basically a paler version of that. So it's very similar to modern Dolch, but lighter and bluer rather than quite. The modern Dolch one's quite green, but this one's quite blue, and slightly paler as well. So there we go. Okay. Next thing I want to do, guys, before we get into the profit build, is just talk to you about the ink switches. Now, I did chuck the ink switches into my jar the other day, so I'm going to get these out so I can talk to you about them. This is my just random switch jar. Anything that I don't use ends up in here, basically. So if we ever do a random build one day and we get to pick switches, it'll be the first 60 switches that come out of here. That might be what we have to do at some point. Soulshalite, sorry, has subscribed with Twitch Prime, subscribed for 2 months. Querdenker says aloha Top Clack. So Querdenker is actually watching from Hawaii at the minute, so good evening or good morning to Querdenker over there. Mono accents are much brighter. How did you know I was here? I was here the whole time, but just switched to desktop. Okay, I saw you post something. That's how I knew you were there, Max. Kind of kept orders for Shoko open for a really long time. I think it was just to hit MOQ, to be honest. Okay. So let's look at these two of the ink switches first of all. So I'll show you these up close. So this is a blue ink. If it decides to focus on the switch, please. There we go. So these are very, very similar to the rest of the Gator ink series. They are really, really nice to look at. But this one is clicky. Not sure if you guys can hear that. I hope so. They're kind of a nice clicky. They have got a click jacket. It works the same way as an MX Blue does. They're alright. They're not bad. They're not terrible. I like the housings though. The housings are great. The housings don't seem to be any different to the normal Gator inks. So these seem to be identical to that. I can't tell any difference between them. So just switching the stem out does still feel like an ink. So if you did want to do something special with blue housings, you could get these. We next up have the yellow one. My phone's going nuts as well. I apologise, guys. This has got a dust-proof stem, which is kind of interesting. So these bits on the side are designed to limit dust entering the switch. I don't know how well they work, but that's usually the sound. Again, this is linear, like a normal GAT yellow. Now, the two other interesting things is that this doesn't depress all the way. That's fully depressed, and if I hold it like this, you can probably just see that there's probably 1/4 of a millimetre or so that doesn't depress. So it is a short bottom out, but they're scratchy as hell. These are, you won't be able to hear this, but they're really, really scratchy. Not a fan of these. They're not great. And then the last one is the red. So this one is lovely. I really like the looks of these as well. I think all of the housings look great, especially when you've got them together. All three of the housings look fantastic. Really, really fun for me. I think they're great, and I might do a build with all one stem in the 3 different housings at some point. But these are a linear. These are super smooth. These basically feel like a light version of normal inks. So I'm using this for the spacebar in my build today. So there we go. There we go. That's the ink switches, guys. Let me know your thoughts on those, or if you've got any questions, we can come back to them. I'll leave them just up there so you guys can see. Okay, Quirden can subscribe with Twitch Prime as well for 5 months. Thank you very much, Quir. You know I appreciate that. Max, you posted CVC, CC, NVM, NCC, HKMM, ILL, III. I don't know what that is, Max, but I hope it's not anything to do with your credit card or anything. Phone in your pocket. Yeah, okay, I believe you. First, just proof this is the case. 1 series, I think, correct. Yes, I was looking it up earlier on. I should have said it, and you beat me to it. Are the leaves Sensei Jaya or Jia says are the leaves the same as well? I would assume so. Yeah, I can't see any difference between the leaves on any of the switches. As far as I can tell, the housing and the leaves are the same for all 3 switches. They're just different colours, and they're all identical to the original ink housing as well. So there's no difference other than the colour of the plastic. Certainly in the red, I can't feel any difference between the normal ink when they've got the same weight spring in. So yeah, the yellow is probably the more interesting of the 3. The fact that it bottoms out short, and it doesn't bottom out from the pole hitting the base of the switch like everything else does. So this bottoms out when the pole hits the base of the switch just here. If I show this up, you can probably see this on camera. Actually, you can probably see the pole filling that slider in there. Maybe not. Maybe if I just hold it a touch further away, it'll focus. So you should be able to see the pole. That's where the pole bottoms out on this one. On here, if you watch, the pole doesn't even get anywhere close to bottoming out. It actually bottoms out in the side of the switch where the slider hits the base, which doesn't feel so good, and they do feel scratchy as well. So there we go. Gouty subscribe with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much, Gouty. Appreciate that. Evening Jay, why are the ink switches orange? I just got here. So they're not. So this is the coloured ink switches. So there's red, which is probably not showing the right colour of red there. If I hold it up here, it might see that. That's more colour accurate. Is that camera? So that's the red, and we've got the yellow and the blue. But they do look fun together. Are the springs the same colours as the respective housings? No, they're all the black, same spring as the inks, the standard inks, apart from the yellow and the red, which are different weights, but they're basically the same. Alchemist KB as well, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub. 4 months now, thank you very much, dude. Just blue or red? That Discord ping again. Yeah, it's just my phone going nuts. So, sorry guys. What's the bottom out weight of the redding? It feels very similar to a normal Gator on red, but I haven't checked that directly, so I don't want to say it's that and then find out it's not, but it feels very, very similar to a standard red switch. What if you stem swap the GAT yellow and the ink yellow? So I've stem swapped a Gator on ink stem into this housing, and that felt like an ink, and I've swapped this stem into a normal ink housing like this, and that stem is still scratchy in this housing. So that tells you it's the stem that's the problem, not the switch. Colour coordinated meme boards in the future? Potentially, yeah, potentially. So there we go. Is it just me, or is the volume very low on Jay? It shouldn't be. It should be alright. Olivia asking if I'm sick. No, I'm not sick. It's hay fever. But thank you for asking. It's just really bad hay fever. It's super warm here in the UK at the minute. It's like 30 degrees. So I do apologise. Seems to be fine for me. My volume is pretty much at max. If I turn it up anymore, it'll be going into the red on the spectrometer. Turn your volume up on your PC, maybe. I don't know. It is literally in the amber constantly when I'm talking. So there we go. Garrett is saying solidarity, brother. Hay fever has been bad for the past few days. Yeah, it's really bad. Set up your AC. That's why it's quiet. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, guys. So the next thing I want to do is show you the profits. Now we've talked about switches. We looked at GMK Shoko. We've looked at the IDB 60 prototype, the Secret 60. Now it's time to take a look at the profit. So this is the board, and as you'll agree, it's stunning. We're not going to be building with this plate today. This plate I just fit for some test purposes earlier on. I'll be doing another build with this plate and PCB in the near future. This is a carbon fibre half plate with ISO layout, which I'm looking forward to doing at some point. But today we won't be using that one, but I'll show you the board first. So as you can see, it's in this lovely red colour with a flexible PCB. You can see the flex cutouts on the PCB nice and clearly there. Take a look at the base of the board. Excuse my fingerprints, warm hands, but there you go, you can see that it does say Profit. That's the logo we're going to infill shortly, and we'll do that before we actually do the build. I've got some dirt on the board here. We'll give the board a clean after we've fully done infill. They're not flex cuts as such. Go on, Max, you paste in chat what you want to say about the board. It's your board. So this is designed by Wes Foxtrot, who's in chat today. He did give me some show notes, which I've completely forgotten to remember prior to the show. Let's see if we can grab those now. Okay, so this is what Max said to me. He said, so basically taking what he learned about design from the ANSI, which we have here as well. This is a Max-based stream using the ANSI there as well. And what he subsequently tested was interesting. He wanted to make something deceptively simple. The premise was it should be low and it should be short. So you can see it's very, very low at the front here. I'll let Max give you the details. It should be beautiful and it should sound incredible. So we'll find out about the sound later on. I think you'll agree it does look great. The colour is fantastic. The layout's great. The design is fantastic. I think this is simple. It's nice. It's tasty. From a side profile, you can see there is no seam. It's seamless design. On the back as well, nice and simple here. USB-C cut out. That decides to focus. Don't know why holding my hand there is going to help, but it sometimes does. Come on. There we go. There we go. It's absolutely lovely. The next thing Max wanted to say is this is why the base is angled. It allows for more space between the assembly and the metal, which allows for sound to develop more evenly across the board. Something else he's found is that having thinnish walls, which you can see on the sides here, these thin walls, allows for a more developed and thocky kind of sound, and it's quite loud because of this. It's supposed to be a clean design and easily assembled. Okay, so we'll take a look at all of those points as we go through it, but it is absolutely lovely. It's designed to have a consistent type feel, Max saying. So it basically means that no matter where you press in the alpha cluster, especially on the half plate, you're going to get a really, really consistent feel, and then the same across the spacebar in terms of sound as well. Okay. Not huge on that yellow PCB, but otherwise, yeah, the PCB looks great. I think I really like it. So we're going to take the board apart first, and then once we've taken the board apart, we'll take a look at the construction, how it all fits together. And then from there, we'll carry on with the logo infill. I hope Max doesn't think I'm ruining his board by doing that, but we're doing it. We're doing it. What is the mounting system? I'll show you in a second, Behemoth. I'm not a huge fan of the yellow PCB. I like to see more coloured PCBs. Yeah, I like blue PCBs personally. That's my kind of favourite, but this yellow is really, really nice. Flex cuts and tape modding stabs makes no sense to me. We all hate the rubbery bottom out of actual rubber domes, so why do we want soft bottom outs and given on a mech? I kind of broadly agree on that personally, but it's all about preference at the end of the day. Different people like different things. I tend to prefer a firmer typing feel, but sometimes these soft boards feel really nice and really consistent, which I think is what Max is aiming for with this board. Well, it is my board, yes, but it's your design, Max. Sorry, that's what I meant, yeah. Your design. I know you'd never stop me doing anything I wanted to a board I'd paid for you just because you designed it, but yeah. It's not as if you keep looking at the PCB all the time. It's not, no, but it's nice to see nice things, isn't it? That's the thing. So I'm just going to flip this over now. You can hear the PCB rattling around inside. So we'll take a look at the inside design first of all. So you can see on the inside here, we've got the HHKB blockers. You can see there's also a lip that runs all the way around on the inside edge. And then we've got the mount points here. I'll show you that a little bit clearer. Mount points there, there, and there. So 3 mount points down each side for the respective screw holes. This does sit over the top of the base, so it acts like a skirt around the base. So as you can see, this is the base here. So the other piece comes down the whole side of this and covers this all up. As you can see, it is angled, as I was talking about before from Max's show notes there. You can have a look at the mounting system here. So you can see here that in the corners there's 4 pins. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what the plate rests on, and it's as simple as that. So you just pop the plate on those 4 pins, and that's the plate installed. So that's how the mount works. And as I say, these are half plates that I've got for it. I've also got some rubber feet there. We'll pop them to one side and use them in a bit. And then the PCB slots into the bottom. And then there's the inside of the tray. So there we go. All fantastic. You can use the !build command if you want to be able to see the build that we're doing today, guys. I'll show that in. There we go. That should show what we're building. So as you can see, that's how the mount point works. The plate just fits over the top of like this. 5mm is probably as thick as Max would go. Soft button mech with linears is nothing like the collapse of cheap rubber domes. It's not, you're right, Max, that's true. The logo on the base and the PCB is in the same spot. Oh, really? Oh, interesting. So the logo on the PCB, which is just here, and the logo on the base, Max is saying line up. Yeah, that looks like it lines up pretty well. There we go. The other thing that I like as well, Max's company is called Cable Car Designs, and there's a nice little cute cable car here on this. How cute's that? Great logo. Love that. So yeah, so there we go. This is the PCB. Max says these aren't flex cuts, but you can see that it does add some flexibility or consistency, as he calls it, to the bottom out. So there we go. But this isn't the plate we're going to be building with today. This is carbon fiber. That's going to be a build for another day. What we are building with today is something that's slightly different, and we're going to be building with a nylon plate. So this is a nylon half ANSI HHKB plate. And this is what we're building it with, and as you can see, this is rather flexible in its design. So there we go. This is the plate that we're going to be going with today, guys. So I'll talk you through the layout we're going to pick. We're going to pick split backspace because it's pretty much HHKB. We're going to use the ANSI enter 7U spacebar across the bottom row, because why would you want anything else than that? And then of course we'll have the 1.5U keys and the 1U keys on the outside. And then we're going to go with split right shift. Sorry, split left shift, sorry. We're going to have split right shift as well, but we're going to have split left shift here. The reason we're going to have split left shift is because I prefer it, and it's probably the only customization I'm going to make on this layout, as we're not building this one as ISO, we're building this one as ANSI enter. So there we go. Which inks? So I'm going to be building this with standard inks. I think Max describes this as 4-pin mount. I think that's how he describes it. Is the board the same colour as Jay's Datsun? No, my Datsun is bright orange, mate. Sorry about that. Max calls it pin mount, yeah. The top doesn't touch. Yeah, so the interesting point that I want to show you as well is that when this piece here goes over the top, so let me turn this around. So what you can see is that when I put these two together like this, that slides over the top of there. Hold this up to camera. So this slides over the top like this. Yep. But when that's there, this bit here doesn't touch the inside lip of the case. So it's not quite touching. So technically you can lift and move around the plate inside it. So there we go. The PC boots are a really cool idea. Yep. Max is saying they were on OTD before. Yep. There's two things that, what's he talking about? Yeah, lots going on in chat at the minute. Is it still 1.5mm thick? Yes, the PCB is, yes. Seems stiff to me. Well, other things might be. It's designed for nylon plates primarily, and nylon shrinks, so you have to stretch it out a little to fit. This PCB is a really good idea. There we go. So the plates move around in the case. You can technically lift it on and off the pins inside the case a little bit. It'll slide up and down the pins fractionally, but it wouldn't come off the mounting system, is my understanding of it. Am I going to test the gap blue inks? I only have these three of the inks in the colours, I'm afraid. I have got some more of each coming, but these are just the samples I have at the minute. Very big shout out to mykeyboard.eu for providing those. Thank you very much to Yulia and David. So these are the only three I have. I am going to use the red ink in the build today as my space bar. So I've got 100 gram spring in this, and I've got 78 gram springs in the rest of them. But we're going to be just using normal ink switches for the rest of this build. So there we go. Upas is here. Upas, you missed my Brutal 60 rebuild, well not rebuild, but re-keycapping with GMK Shoko. I hope you like that. I hope you approve of how I've dressed your board. So there we go. So there you go. So Shoko is a winner. Shoko is an absolute winner. So this is the build we're going to do. If you've got any more questions about the board, guys, do get those in. We are going to start with a little bit of logo infilling work, just because it's a while since I've done any, and I want to show it on stream. I'm just going to move the top case out of the way. Any guesses for the key set as well that's going on here? No prizes, but see if anyone can guess what key set we're going to use. Let's move these out of the way. So I've got a little bit of paper to put down just to protect my desk mat. And the paint we're going to be using is black 3.0. Hamon. No, I'm not going with Hamon. No. Want to buy Shoko? Yeah, you should want to buy Shoko. It's really nice. Definitely not going Hamon. No, Hamon's up on the shelf somewhere. You might be able to see it up here. I don't know. It's on one of the shelves up there somewhere. Shoko is definitely with that brutal. Yes, it is. Just got the paint all over my thumb. Thank you very much, paint. We'll just grab a cloth to wipe that up. Now, me being me, always have some wipes at the side. Just make sure I didn't get that anywhere other than my hands. There we go, nice and clean. Apart from under my nail, which is going to look great at work tomorrow, but oh well. Cleaning my hands on stream, guys. How about this for a stream content? How about this for giving you what you want to see? But there we go. Clean up the lid as well. Just give me 1 second, guys. Make sure we're nice and clean before we start this. Okay, the other thing I want to do is just wipe down the surface. And we're just going to let this air dry for a minute, but we're just making sure that this is nice and clean before we get any paint on it. So there we go. We're going to let that air dry. Now, I'll just talk you guys through the way that I do this. So I have this rubber tool. This is just a piece of rubber. It's designed for grout, for tiles and things like that. And you can see I've used it for other colours before. Effectively what we're going to do is we're going to drop in paint into there. We're going to smooth it out. And then we're going to use one of these to clean up around the edges. Then you let it dry. And then once it's dry, you can give it a really good scrub over the top. But we're just going to let it dry a little bit like this. And we'll crack on with that. What else are people guessing here? So Hamon? No, definitely not. White on black? No, it's not arrived yet. It hasn't white on black. Nautilus? Not on the red. No. Yuri? Don't have it, sadly. Red Sam. Red Sam. There you go. That's what we're going with. 9009. Handabite. Olivia? Yes. Yes, I want Handabite. I hope you're joining on that one. I really do. Spicy say muted and Modern Dolch. Well, we've already seen Modern Dolch on the Secret 60, so no, we're not doing that. Quality content, yeah. How did I get the profit? I bought it from the group buy. So Max West Foxtrot, who ran that group buy, there was 10 of us that bought it. I just got into there. Wait, painting. Yeah, we're going to do some infill on the logo. I'm just waiting for the board to dry off. Wipes by the desk, you dutty boy. Yeah, I keep them by my desk whenever I'm doing infill work, just because they're great at cleaning up mess and spillage. Rubber tool. Yeah, not just me, but I actually have a tool that's rubber. Can you link the ink I use? Yeah, well, I can tell you it's black 3.0. That's what it's called. It was available really short. Really shortly on the website. I can't remember the name of it, but you just Google black 3.0 and you'll find it. Culture Hustle, Max has found it. There you go. Yes, Spicy, you guessed right. Will I ever run out of keycaps? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, it's a little bit like Banter Black. When it dries, it is super black. I put it on the Cypher a while back, and it is really black. So anyway, let's crack on with this. I'll show you guys how I do this. So this is really a case of being quite liberal with your paint application. So we're just going to put a blob on each letter. It's probably enough for the whole amount. Just put a blob on each letter, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to gently spread that across. And there you go, you can start to see how this works. And effectively what we're going to do here is we're just going to use the rubber to keep it nice and clean. And you can use the rubber to scrape off. The great thing about acrylic paints is that any wet wipe will pull it off nice and simply. So just do that, dry it off. and we can just pull off the excess paint with the rubber tool. Just like this. Just keep rinsing and repeating. Take away all of the excess paint. Nice and simple. Watch out for any air bubbles. We've not got any in here, but sometimes it's easy to get air bubbles. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly clean up around the edges. You don't need to be too neat with this. We're going to, because we'll get it back all later on. So we're just taking off any excess now. All we need to do now is wait for that paint to dry. I'll show you guys up close what that looks like. This is what it looks like at the minute. And we're just going to wait for that to dry. And then once it's dry, we'll be able to clean over it properly. And we'll be able to see what it looks like. So there we go. I'm going to pop that to one side. That should dry nicely over there now. As I say, just applied with a little rubber grouting tool. Dead simple, dead easy to use. And then just, as I say, some wet wipes. Now I had these to hand purely for this. But as you can see, these pull acrylic paint off. Dead easy, so you don't need to worry about your anodization. If you dislike the infill after you've done it, just use these and pull it straight out and it will get rid of any of that infill that you've used. There we go, nice and simple. You'll see when it's you'll see when it dries that it is a little bit like Vantablack. I just saw Max's comment about it's Vantablack but not owned by a certain type of person. That's my paper for keeping it nice and clean on the desk. There we go. Clavier's here as well. Good evening, Clavier. Nice to see you. Are you just doing the logo infill? No, I'm doing the board. I'm doing the build. Can you do an infill on brass? Yes, you can. I've done infill on brass quite a few times. Following exactly the same method as that. It works really well. Works really well. What material is he putting the ink on? So that's aluminium. It's anodized aluminium case, and I just put the black 3.0 acrylic paint into that, and then smoothed it out with a rubber tool. So there you go, guys. I hope that helps. Just going to close up this paint now and try not to splash it everywhere. But that's as simple as it is to infill a logo. So I say that's going to dry nicely. But now we're going to get onto the main event. We're going to get onto the main build. So we've been live nearly an hour, and all I've done is change keycaps on 2 boards and show you guys how to do an infill, which is a 2-minute job. So as you can see, guys, we are going to use inks today. I'm going to use the red ink as my spacebar switch, just because why not? It's fun, it's something different to do. So that's it. These are lubed with 205 grade 0, and they've got 78 gram springs in, and they feel great. And then we've got this one, which is also lubed with 205 grade 0, but it's got 100 gram spring in for spacebar. Vantablack is still not available for civilian use. No, you have to pay for a license to be able to use it. That's why I buy Black 3.0, which is like owned by a UK artist, and he lets people use it as well. I actually gave another tub of that to Glove from Glove Caps. So yeah, I'm hoping to see some nice artisans with that as well soon. Isn't 78 grams a tad heavy? I prefer heavier switches. I have a board here called Brutal 60. This has a 180 gram switches in, which I use relatively frequently, and I have 0 problems using that. So it all depends on the user. So in terms of doing the build, the first thing we're going to do is build up stabilizers. Now, as I said before, because I'm splitting backspace and I'm splitting left shift, I've only got, and I'm splitting right shift as well, I only need stabilizers for the ISO enter and the spacebar. Sorry, the anti enter and the spacebar. So we're going to build those up now. So the first thing to do is to clip the legs. For those of you who have not seen this before, what I'm going to do is just clip this leg here, which you can see just like so. Oops. And then this leg here on this side, which are the 2 thinnest legs. That leaves the base looking like this and like so, nice and flat and smooth. I'm going to repeat that for the other 3. Yeah, Anish Kapoor owns Vantablack. Yes, it's very frustrating because I would love some Vantablack in my life, but Black 3.0 is significantly black. It's really black. Like the first time I used it, it blew my mind just how black it is. Jay's ripped on a Chad to use 180 grams. No, I've just got strong fingers. Wouldn't you want to be doing an info with raw brass? You can do it just fine. It's fine. I've done it a few times, 10 strong. It's never had a problem. If you're really worried about it, what you can use is you can use a cotton wool bud and go around the logo that you're doing with some Vaseline or some other type of protectant, and that works just fine to protect what you need on the brass. So that's absolutely a choice. Why does the PCB have a joint line? It has two, one there and one there, for consistency across the PCB, to even out the typing feel. Max is fast as fuck at his typing. Yep, he is. Profit is not designed for flex. Alright, Max, okay. How is Black 2.0 compared to Black 3.0? It's nowhere near the same. Black 3.0 is a significantly different product. I've got both paints. Black 3.0 just blows your mind when you see it. Okay, so we are going to be lubing these with 205 grade 0 this week, just because I've lost my dielectric grease. So I'll show you guys how I do this. So, nice amount of lube on the brush. The first thing we're going to do is just lube up and down the inserted parts of the stem. We're going to turn that around and do the other side. So being relatively generous, but not using too much lube at this point. I'm just going to make sure that's nice and evenly covered. On the tip as well. There you go, guys. You can see how that's covered there. Not too much, not too little. Just nice, thin, even covering. Then what we're going to do is we're going to build the stabilizer together. So we're going to take the main housing. We're going to pop the insert inside, and then we're going to push the wire into the bottom of the two holes in the front of the insert. My phone is going nuts again. Come on. I'm not sure why I can't get this to go in now. There we go. And then we're just going to clip it into the front. And we're going to do the same on the other side. And then once that's done, we're going to lube the rest of these stabilizers. So we've still got plenty of lube on the brush from when we're doing the stems, so we can then just push that onto the side. You only want a thin coating. Thin coating on both sides, just enough to cover it. And jump over to this one and do this as well. Again, just a nice thin coating, make sure it's nice and even. I'm going to take a little bit more lube. I want to be able to just see this on the brush now, so it's almost like a white covering on the brush. We're just going to put a small blob into the back there. We're going to put a small blob into the back at the other side. And then we're going to come run down across the front here. Wherever the plastic touches the metal, basically you want to lube. And then we're just going to do that here as well, just run down to the front there. And the last thing we're going to do is just paint a little bit on the underside. Again, small amount on the brush. Paint it fairly liberally across the bottom of the stabilizer just there, and then on this side as well. Okay, that's one done. And now we're going to move on to the second. Just catch up with chat. Meister Grinceppo says, Top Clack, do you know if Faxa is still selling stabs at the minute? He hasn't got back to me in quite some time. Yes, he is. He is still selling stabs because I got some from him just this past week. So I think he definitely is. Okay, so I'm just going to screw these in a few minutes. Just keep on lubing these. As I say, only a relatively small amount of lube this week needed, because there's only two stabilizers in this build. Okay, so that's that done. Now we're going to just build up the one side of the stabilizer. Pop this together. Pop that into the housing like so. We're going to build up the other side. Come on, get this insert to go in. There we go. And then we're going to go into the other side as well. Or we will when it decides to clip in. There we go, that's in and in. Still plenty of lube on the brush. We'll catch up with chat in just a minute. Word per minute on any keyboard around 110. Wow, I wish I could do that. Wish I could do that. Did not guarantee actual typing speed results that installing optional Go Faster Stripe. Right, okay, yeah, I didn't get the Go Faster Stripe, sorry. Have you ever done the heat shrink mod stabs like the Rama vid? Wonder if it's worth it. I haven't tried it as yet. I have got some heat shrink. I might try that on stream one week. In fact, if you remind me before next week's stream, I will give it a shot there. Still plenty of lube on the brush, so I don't need to change out that yet. We don't need to add any more lube to the brush yet. Just gonna nice and evenly put some lube on here. There we go. Not too much. It's easy to add more lube later on if you need to. Take some lube. I'm going to go into the back of the stabilizer here. Into the back of the stabilizer here as well. Going to just brush around on the front part just here. Just a nice small amount. Basically just stops any rattle or squeak from the space bar. And then we're going to use the last bit of lube. We're just going to paint some quite liberally on the bottom again. Just like so. And just like so. And there we go. That's the stabilizers lubed. Okay. What are we talking about now? You want GMK screens? Yes, these are GMK screens that we're using. Wouldn't Tesco have dielectric grease over there? Yeah, Tesco does, yeah. You can get it from Tesco, Halfords, any car parts store. What else are we talking about? PCB mount is better than screwing. Yeah, if that's what you like, fair enough. If you're EU, you'd recommend Fax. Yes, I use Fax for all my stabs. Every single set of stabilizers I've ever used on stream, apart from the non-GMK ones, have come through Faxer. So yeah. Okay, so there we go. So that is the stabilizers lube. So we are going to screw these in now. So I'm just going to move the space bar one to one side. I'm going to pop this on the PCB here, which is the ANSI enter one. And then we've got the screws just to one side. So these are the screws just here. So I'm going to pop that screw into there. And then we'll screw that in nice and neatly. Again, don't go too tight with these screws. You only tighten it up until it just pinches it closed. You're not trying to over tighten these and crush the PCB or anything like that. I don't want you to damage that or break the stabilizer. You'll know when it feels tight enough. It just stops wanting to turn. You just don't force it. You just feel it start to nip. And then we're going 7U bottom row. There is only the one option on the PCB, so it's nice and easy to put together here. It's not one where I have to work out where it's going. Again, just screw this together. There we go, and then one last one. And that's the stabilizers done for this build. I was going to ask what's the UK equivalent of a Canadian tyre, but then I realised I already used Tesco in an investment comparison for Canadian tyre. British tyres is max. Yeah, pretty much. And here's Pona as well. Hey Pona, good to see you, man. Hopefully we'll be building your board on stream next week, my dude. Or the board that I've got through you. So there you go, guys. There you can see the stabilizers are all installed on this PCB. You can also see my fingerprints from the slight bit of grease. Teori says AO as well. Is Jay wearing a Weeb shirt? No, it's a Dixie shirt. A Dixie Mecha shirt. I don't know exactly what it is. He sent it to me. I'm wearing it. It's as simple as that. Okay, so I know, Max, you mentioned that there was a slight issue with the stabilizer around the enter key. So I'm just going to try and tweak this slightly. Given this is nylon, we can cut it with some flush cutters. Okay. Let's try and find the best way to trim this. I'm just going to trim a tiny bit off of this in each direction. just a thin amount. Mecca means you're going to need to do some hardcore on the build in this stream. I really don't know what it means, dude, I'll be honest. Dixie just sent me the shirt, so I'm wearing it. Okay guys, so I'm just ever so slightly trimming this. I know Max said there was a problem with the laser cutter, just made it a tiny bit too small. So if that one now fits, there we go. And does this one now fit as well? I just need to do this one a tiny bit as well. So I'm just literally trimming like a millimetre, just under half a millimetre off on these. There we go. That's the problem with these new fangled plastic plates. Everything's always a little bit different. Okay, just neaten that up. Give that a try, see if that will fit. There we go. And I know they said the spacebar was fine, so there we go. And there we go, that is the plate all nice and neatly fitted. So there we go, guys. Right, okay, so you can just build it by putting switches into the corners first. I recommend. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll put some switches into the corners first in a second. That's double advertising right on the collar so it's visible on stream. I'm about to send you one with mirrored text next. Maybe. We'll see. As nylon shrinks a little, it's because it's machined, not moulded. Fair enough, that makes sense. Probably going to stop doing tight stab cuts, because if it was bigger size, it wouldn't be a problem. That's fair enough, Max, that's fair enough. What width do you use? 7mm, nice. I just associate Mecca with Dixie using a screwdriver to remove switches and CJT holding the kepper by the limo. I don't know what it means either. Well, now you've just seen me cut a plate with some flush cutters, so there we go. Did you get GMK Shoko already? I did, yes. I've just put on this board earlier on. This is the Brutal 60 wearing GMK Shoko. So there we go. Lovely set. I think it's my favourite set of the year so far, to be honest. Okay, so next thing to do is put some switches in. Max recommended putting some switches in the corners first, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. We're going to go up into the top corner just here, and as you can see, this plate doesn't want to sit flush on the switch straight away, so I'm going to pull that flush. Once we've done that, we're going to come over to the other corner, clip it into the plate first, and then we're going to push this into the PCB. And that's going to sit just like so. Oh, I see what you mean. So the nylon plate is wanting to turn this almost into like a bow. So I can see, Max, now why you suggested soldering these first. Okay, interesting. And then we'll put one just down into this bottom corner. Make sure the plate is fully engaged on the switch. Okay, this is going to be an interesting build. There we go. I'm going to have to hold these switches down in place while I solder them. That looks so good. I'm so excited to get mine. Yep, it'll even out once it starts getting switches in. Nylon plates aren't a great but a pain to assemble. Sorry, they are great but a pain to assemble. Okay, well, let's get these switches soldered in then. We'll solder these four in first, and then once we've done that, we can start to complete the rest of the build. Just move the switches out of the way. Bring in my solder rod. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is push the switch flat so I can see that it's raised the right amount. And then once I've done that, I'm going to solder one pin in, check it's completely flush, and then I'll solder the second pin in, just to make sure that these are all right. Okay, so that's one pin in. I'm just doing this switch here, so you can now see that that switch is completely flat and flush. So now I'm comfortable doing the second pin on this one. There we go. So that's that one switch in place. The plates nicely fit around that switch, so we'll move on to the next one. Next one I'm going to do is in this top corner here. So I'm just going to move it this way around. Again, putting plenty of pressure on the switch to try and keep it in place. We'll just solder this piece first. And then we'll check that the switch is fully level. And as long as it is, so you can still see that the plate is now fitting over the switch is fully level with the plate. Confident to do the next pin. There we go. Okay, now we can start to see that we're stretching the nylon across the full length of the PCB. So we're going to come in and do this switch here, but we're going to push this down really firmly. And we're going to come in and we're going to do this switch point here, this leg first. So I will touch my solders that one. There we go. Going to make sure that that's now nice and flat and flush. We can see that that switch isn't quite flat, so I'm just going to heat that up and repress it back in. Okay, so now we can see that it is flush, so I'm going to go ahead and solder that second pin. There we go. And we can see that that's torsioned this across here nicely. In fact, you can probably hear that strumming. And then we're going to come down and do this last switch. So we're going to just pin that in place just there. Again, just do the one pin. Check that it's fully flush. And then we'll do the next pin. Again, that's not quite flush, so I'm just going to heat it back up, pushing on the switch as I do it. And there we go, that's now nicely and neatly in place. We'll just finish off putting the last one in. There we go. So there we go, that's the 4 corner switches all soldered in nicely. Everything is now nice and flush on the PCB. Everything's now nice and held in place by the plate. We'll catch up with what's going on in chat just for a second. Oh gosh, lots of top clack things. What's he's soldering switches in a spot with blockers. Oh gosh, yes. Well done, Mac. You said the corners. All right, okay. Let's bust out this desoldering iron. Yeah, thanks for that, guys. Thank you. Press F for profit blockers. Yeah, you said the corners, Max, and you got me confused. Normally a move reserved for Querdenker's build streams. Yeah. If you start something to pull through with it, we'll desolder them at the end. We'll finish off the soldering and we'll take them at the end. Jay's Quer now. Yeah, it happens, guys. It happens. Max takes full responsibility. Yeah, he did say the corners, so that's what I was getting confused with. We'll finish off the board. It'll help with evening out the nylon anyway, and then we will get back to the rest of it. So we probably don't have quite enough switches, so we'll have to desolder them and then move them. But let's just get the rest of the switches in the board for now. Just going to pop all of these in. So we're going to do the top row first. Just trying to hold up the plate as we push the switches in. Your fault for not using standard ISO. Yeah, if I'd used ISO I might not have made the mistake, but oh well. You live and learn, guys. It's alright. It's rare we do a build stream that doesn't have a mistake in it. Okay. I blame Quer. Yeah, blame Quer. He's enjoying himself too much on holiday. Jay, stop. Look at chat. Yeah, I can see. I just it doesn't play any audio because I have my desktop muted, so I don't see it on there. Oh, someone was pinging me on Discord as well. Yeah, 10 strong. Yeah, I see. J stop. Look at chat. Yeah. All right. All right. It's all right. We can fix it, guys. It's no big deal. Just realised this one's got a bent pin. It's just 2 switches. We can fix that in a minute. Okay, just holding up the plate on these switches now. I think you're right, Max. It's starting to get a little bit easier to get these in as we go through the board. What we'll do is we'll solder any that fit into the plate first of all. We'll solder all of these plate mounted switches first. And then once we've done these, we'll then move on to the central portion. Okay. That was Mecca though. Okay, keeping it nice and neat and tidy now, guys. Rama's heat shrink mod. Yeah, I've not tried Rama's heat shrink mod on a board yet. I am interested to try it at some point. We'll see how it goes when I get around to it. Making sure the plate's all fully aligned on all these switches. Keeping it neat and tidy here, guys. There we go. I'm going to use stepped caps lock because I prefer stepped caps lock. Just trying to pull up the plate and make sure it's fully sitting on the switches as it's supposed to be. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but it doesn't want to always stay clipped in. It's just one of the natures of this type of plate, I guess. There we go. Those switches in the corners are helping for now. Ten strong. Don't apologise. You were trying to help me, man. Don't apologise for that. Your fault, Faxa isn't answering me as well. Yeah, yeah. Blame Querdenker, guys. Why not? Okay. And so splitting the right shift here. We're going to split the left one as well. That's one of the 2 switches needed for the left shift, and that's 2. Just making sure the plate is all lifted up and around the switch. Just going to double check and make sure everything's nice and neatly sat in the PCB. So as you can see, guys, I'm just looking down this row, making sure everything's nice and neatly sat in there. I hope you guys can see that. It's all nice and neat and tidy. Making sure that the plate is resting around the switches as it should be. Okay, so you can see here that the plate just wants to press under the switch in places. Making sure it's nice and say neat and tidy in those areas. As I say, we won't change these switches over just now. We'll do that towards the end of the build. We'll get everything else done first. There we go, all looking good. We've got the red one, the red ink for the spacebar. There we go. The other good thing I like about this as well, this board, is that Max hasn't offered any LEDs or underglow or anything like that. It's just a dead simple PCB. These should all now nice and neatly fit together. Just pushing these in. Best to use PCB mount switches on a build like this because, well, there's no plate to hold them in place. Thank you, Querdenker, for the luck. I've had your bad luck now. I'll be alright for the rest of the stream now. Natty's got to go. Watch the rest of the stream tomorrow. Thank you very much for being here, Natty. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. That was Mecca, though. Okay. Those inks looks too good on the nylon plate. They look great, don't they? They always look good, the inks, though. My favourite switch right now. For wobble, the inks were say 9.8, zeals are a 10. I'd say yellows are a 6.8, and unholy banders are a 2.5. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Inks are probably my favourite linear on the market right now, just based on cost, price point, and performance value for money. They are really, really good. Just pushing these in nice and firmly. And so we've got 2 quick switches to desolder because we put it together wrong, but that'll take 2 minutes to fix. Got the desoldering gun out. I've got 2. I think I've got 1 on the desk, so we'll be alright with that. And then once we've done that, we'll start to put the rest of the board together, but we'll solder all these switches in first, and then we'll go from there. Just making sure these are nice and firmly pressed in so they're sitting flush with the PCB. Give us maximum room in there. A face switch is better than retooled blacks. I've got face switches in this and in the Brittle 60. I kind of like them. I think they're alright. I think I prefer tangerines to the Fey ones. I think the Fey ones have the cloudy bottoms, the milky bottoms that have been recoloured. Always go for Gator on black bases if you can. But to be honest, rather than buy face switches, I'd just buy standard Gator ones instead of recoloured ones. They're not worth the price difference. Oh, my dog's coming to visit. Hello. Would you like to see the doggo on stream, guys? Do you want to see the doggo? Peach, come on. Come here she is, guys. Here's doggo on stream. Doggo on stream. Go on then, chicken. Off you go. Bless her. Apparently she's been sat outside the door. Good girl. She is a good girl. She's lovely. She's really cute. She usually sleeps in this chair behind me. Geej, come on, get in your chair. There you go. Good girl. Lie down. That's where she usually sleeps when I'm working from home. She's usually in that office chair pretty much all day, every day. Just like that, bless her. There you go, guys. Doggo stream. I don't know what she's doing. Oh, she's having a sleep. There you go. I'll stay out of the way so you guys can see Doggo. Doggo. She's almost as cute as me. Oh, oh my god, pet her. I did pet her. There we go. She just likes to sit in the chair. She just likes to be near me. Evil motherfucker. I'm not an evil. I love her to bits. She's my little pet. Okay, guys. So just about finished putting the switches in here. We'll, as I say, switch those other 2 over towards the end of the build before we put it in the case. But there we go. That's broadly what it's going to look like. Just imagine those 2 are here, and we'll be all good. So I'm going to flip this over. Just do one last check, guys, all around the edges to make sure everything's sitting flush. Everything looks nice and even. Looks good. So we're going to do it from here. There we go. Clean the soldering iron up a little bit. And then we'll just go row by row and try and solder this fairly quickly. If my solder decides to melt, there we go. I'm really excited for this build as well, guys. This is one I've been looking forward to since I joined the group buy, which hasn't been that long ago actually. Max has turned this out in a matter of weeks. I think it's probably, I don't know, 2 months from beginning to end, if that. Maybe even less. Okay. Sorry guys, this is the boring part of the stream. I do apologise. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll just finish soldering this up. We'll switch those 2 switches over. We'll take a look at the base, see how the paint's dried, we'll clean that up, and then we'll put the whole thing together. And then we'll give it a bit of a sound test. We'll put some keycaps on there. And then we'll see how the board performs, how it feels, how it looks, and most importantly, how it sounds. Okay, that's the first row done. 5 weeks until I handed you yours. Yeah, I didn't think it was long. The Metro desk pad is slick as fuck. I love this desk pad. It is probably one of my favourite ones. I've got a few now. This is well up there. I think this one, the one that says J Keebs, and the Anzi one are my 3 favourites. But it'd be hard to pick an actual favourite out of the 3, all for different reasons. So. The PCB is yellow FR4. The traces are orange silkscreen. Yeah. Rudy Boy's here as well. Hey Rudy. Meanwhile, I'm trying to solder one wide to the other. This guy solders half a keyboard in that time. Yeah, well, it's just practice soldering. And through hole is far easier than soldering 2 wires together as well. A lot of it's just practice. I do this every week on stream, so I'm kind of used to it by now. Making some good progress here, guys. Almost through the 2nd row now. And then once we're through this, we'll switch those 2 switches over. I still blame Max for that. Put them in the corners. Yeah, it did help, but put them in the corners, well, not the right advice. Okay, let's move on to this switch here. Redo this one a touch. There we go. What solder do I use? This is Kester 6040. I'm just a yellow hater. If I like the colour, I'll be all over it. I just played with the choice I had, see what was good. Probably do white. Blue, white, black. I love a blue PCB. Didn't realise this was your design. Yeah, it's Max's design. Yeah. Just want one of the PCBs. Yeah. Oh, Policeman on Discord does. Right. Okay. Good to know, dude. Good to know. I thought this already ran off something. This is his design. Private HHB only by his version 2. I think there was only 2 the previous round, though, I think. Winkeyless HHB and standard 100 units. So yeah, be nice. Would be nice to see, Max. Going to quickly solder up this row now as well, and then we'll just have the last 2 rows to solder. We'll switch out those 2 switches, and then we'll be golden and ready to put the keyboard together. We'll also see how that infill's turned out as well. I can't actually see where I put it. Oh. Dog's decided she's had enough. And she's gone. Guess I was boring. We've got bent pin there, so we'll probably just have to pull that out. Okay. Almost through this layer, guys. And then I'll just quickly fix this bent pin on this layer, and then carry on with the rest of the build. I could have sworn I checked every single switch for a bent pin and didn't see one anywhere, but missed it. Not the cleanest of builds today. Yeah, it's just there. So I'm just going to grab that switch with my switch puller. Which one is it? It's this one here, which is this one here. And then we're just going to heat it up from the other side and pull this switch out. Just like so. Then we're just going to unbend this pin. Gonna line it up again. Get ready to press. Reheat that pad. For some reason that's not wanting to come through. I'll just desolder that point in a second when we take the other two switches out, and we'll come back to that one. I think there's just too much solder in the switch point at that point, so we'll just take it out in a second rather than try and force something and break something. Not the cleanest build this week, I'm afraid, guys, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Anything is fixable. Okay, just going to come down this row, then we'll do the last row. We'll desolder those two switches, and then we'll be golden for the rest of the build. Okay, almost there now, guys. Catch up with chat before we do the desoldering, because it'll take me a minute to get the machine warm anyway. I'll just have to move some stuff around as well. Okay. Last couple of switches now. I'm going to do the red ink switch here. This is for the spacebar. That's 1 and 2 pins done on that one. Last switch here. And there we go, guys. That's the main part of the soldering done. Let's catch up with chat. V2 of the design, V1 had 2 priorities because Chris asked me. Huffing fumes, gotta love some fumes. Odin, such a great board, yeah. Looking forward to how it turns out. Profit equals profit. Not really, Max run this really cheap. Nylon half plate, and it sounds good, yeah. That's where the name came from too, really, after certain keyboard news stream called me out gouging prices for profit. Yeah, I was not around then, Max, not my shout. The thing with nylon plates is that the feel really evens out across the whole board with it. So there we go. Okay. Max didn't make any profit on this board. That's very kind of you, very kind of you. How dare you profit? Yeah, there is definitely a series of different thoughts in the community going on right now around profits. So just bear with me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to move some stuff around and shut the office door, as well as grab my desoldering gun. Let me just move these boards to one side. Apologies, guys, this isn't what you want to see on stream. I don't usually desolder on stream, so I wasn't really prepared for this. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I have 2 desoldering guns. I have a Hacko one and I have this one as well. This is just going to take a minute to get up to speed. Ah, there we go. Apologies for that, guys. Apologies. Hold on a second. Let me just bash this. There you go. Just need a knock on the side to stop it making that horrible noise. I actually got really close to losing money on a recent group buy. Yeah, I'm losing a ton of money on my JO1 group buy, but sometimes it's just what you got to do for the right thing. Sometimes it's better to do the right thing than it is to make money. Any idea on the price when this will run in the group buy? Around $250, yeah? Really nice price. At 10 units with more options, I would do it in a full group buy. Although I like these colours. Yeah, this red is absolutely stunning. I know I was showing it off earlier on, but this red is absolutely lovely. It's very, very similar to the red of the Ocelot. It almost matches. It's not quite a perfect match, but it's almost there. Just wait for this gun to heat up a second, guys, and then we can start to finish off the rest of the build. we're just going to unplug the soldering iron and pop that to one side. We can come back to use it in a minute. So this is my cheaper desoldering gun that I just use for mass desoldering boards, but it's not particularly well looked after. This one usually is in my garage, so it's unusual for me to have it here in the office. Okay, we should be good to go. So I'm just going to desolder that one there, that one there, and then just over here. And there we go, that's all of those switches desoldered. Those should come straight out now. That's one out. That's two out. And then we can put these back in. There we go, that's one in. Okay, so we've got a slight problem with the plate here, just bowing away from the switch, just because of the flexibility in the plate here. It's just moving away from the switch a little bit. I'm just going to try and force it up. There we go. The switch we missed in the middle with the desoldered pin. I'm just going to pop this back in. Oh, okay, I see what's wrong with this. There we go. Shouldn't really use the desoldering iron to resolder this, but I am gonna. So please don't tell anyone that I did this. Definitely not the way you should solder something. All looking good. I'm just going to turn that off. And there we go, guys. That's all of the soldering done. Pixel Hero Tier 1 sub for 5 months. 5-month streak. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate that. PCBs are standard 60%, but Type C and no screw holes. Pin mount Rudy. Jay showed at the start of the build. Yep, I'll be showing off the mount again in a minute. Is that a soldering gun? Never seen one in action. Looks super easy. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I use that one all the time for doing all of my vintage boards. I take switches out of. That's what that's there for. HHKB layout, small brain. No, I was a small brain one. I did that. I kind of want to make Damascus badges. Nice. Pona subscribe with Twitch Prime as well. 21 months, Pona. 21 months. That's crazy. Thank you, dude. Thank you. That's all of our soldering done now, folks. Now is time for us to test the PCB, make sure it all works. So this is USB-C, so I'm just going to steal that USB-C cable from there. And if I get up switch hitter, you should be able to see that. Now, let's just go through the keys. Okay, nothing's working, typical. Uh-oh, dead PCB. I tested this before the stream, and Windows can clearly detect it. There we go. Okay, so all looking good along the top row so far. Okay, yeah, split backspace, that confused me for a second. Okay, looking good there. Caps lock is control, which is fine because it's HHKB layout. Making sure all the switches do what they should do. Yeah, backspace there as well. Shift. Oh, I need to change that around. That should be the other way for me, but we're good. Just making sure all the keys work here. That'll be FN, so that'll be fine. We've got Windows and Alt, spacebar, Alt and Win. Cool. There we go, guys. So everything is working on that. Plug this back into the macro pad there. There we go. So the whole PCB is now working. Everything's there on the board. get the top case back. We've got stuff that we don't need. And then we can take a look and see how the infill's going. So there we go, guys. You can see that this is the infill. It looks like a black hole in the middle of the plate. You can see that it's slightly dirty in places, but we can quite easily even that up now. Now that all of the paint is dry, we can just quickly wipe over it, clean up the edges, and as I say, you can be as delicate or as rough with this as you like, depending on what your intention is. And there we go. That'll dry off nice and neatly, and that will be the Profit logo fully infilled. A couple of bits I just need to tweak just around the bottom of the H, but I'll get in there like so. There we go. There we go, guys. All nice and neat and cleaned. That's it. Simple as that. There we go. As you can see, it starts to dry out. Try and get it a little bit drier. But yeah, it looks really, really good. Does the infill. Kind of proud of that one. Looks great. Yeah, great font choices, as people are saying, Max. Great font choices. So there we go, guys. That's all sorted. I am going to just build this on a piece of paper just in case I've wet that ink a little bit too much cleaning it up there. I don't want to mark the desk mat. The first thing I'm going to do actually is put the feet on this. So there we go. These are just standard bump-ons. So I'm just going to pop these in each of the corners. There we go. Someone talking about preference. The really small brain is shitting on other people's out choices. Yeah, I mean, other people should make their own choices. We should never try and make choices for people. And we should never judge people for making choices that we wouldn't. That's definitely not the way to do things. So we're just going to mount this nicely on here. So as we say, it is 4-pin mount. So we're just pushing the 4 pins in place. There we go. So you can see now that the 4 pins are mounted just in these corners. So pins just here. And then one down here. And then over here as well. And you can see that the PCB is suspended in there, but they've got a decent amount of movement. So there we go. Okay, move that out of the way. Move that. Get rid of switch hits off the screen. You guys don't want to be seeing that. Boom, there we go. So that's the plate embedded into the case. We're now going to put the top case on. And that's what the board's going to look like fully built. Now we're just going to screw all that together. So we're going to flip that over. Pop a screw in on this corner here. And as you can see, this is a seamless design. It actually really heavily reminds me of the KBD 661 as well, Max. Yeah. Oh, you just posted it literally as I looked up then. Did Jay do an infill tutorial? Yeah, Titan, right at the beginning of the show I did an infill tutorial. I just explained how I do it, and then I just showed the end of it there. As you can see, it looks great on the bottom of this board. It's dead easy is the method I use. I know Danton Bock uses my method and a few others. Great anno match waste on a seamless board. Yeah, you should just do all the bases black, Max, and then you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, Daniel, if you like the infill, you just watch back the VOD and you'll be able to see how I did it, but it does look great on this board. I do enjoy doing infills. I do it on a lot of my boards with different colours and different things, different materials as well. Amazing. Yeah, you get there in the end, man. You get there in the end. Okay, so there we go. That's the board all together. Now that that's all nice and dry, I can show you that a little bit closer. So there you go, guys. You can see just how nice and dank that looks. There we go. I'll clean up the rest of the base later on. I know there's other marks and stuff on it. It'll take a 2-minute job. Daniel subscribed with Twitch Prime, subscribed for 2 months. That's fully dry now. That's not coming off anywhere. So So I'm comfortable to leave that on the desk now. And now it's time for some keycaps. Preferred Titan order. I forgot to say it. Talisman. I forgot to say it. Looks amating. Amating is the new meme, guys. That's the new meme for it. I'm knocking key sets over left, right, centre here. So I can't remember who said it earlier on, but someone did guess correctly. We're going with GMK Red Samurai for this board because I think it'll just look great. I've got this on the JO1 as well, just behind me. And thank you to 159 for selling me some additional modifiers. I've now got the Nishi set and pretty much everything else I need to get 2 builds out of this. So we're going to try with this escape key, see how it looks. If this doesn't look good, we'll change for the alternative one. Humble Flex, not 1 but 2 Red Sam sets. You guessed it, Boone. You guessed it. If we don't like the look of this escape key, I'll change it for the black one towards the end of the build. But here we go, guys. And then I need the one new delete key up here as well. Now, I know this isn't the right key for here. It's the only key I didn't have 2 of, 2 tab keys, so we're just going to go with that because it's the correct profile. And it will do for this particular build. Already looks good with the PCB, yeah. Can already tell this will look amazing. Yeah, it's one of my favourite boards already. I have the same colour and using white on black. Yeah, I posted your picture on Instagram, Mac. That's a good picture of your board in the pub the other day, and I posted it on Instagram earlier on today. But yeah, Max has the same colour case as mine for his build, and he let me play on it in the pub the other day. And we've got control up in here. Oh, I've gone stepped actually, so we can't use that. I do have another stepped key, but I don't know where it is. I'll have to dig that out. Maybe it's in one of these bags. Where's my other stepped key? No, you're just gonna have to pretend there's a key then for now, guys. I'll fix that and put one on later on. I do have another stepped key. I know I do. Don't know where it's gone. Oh no, not being on Insta today. Had no signal. Oh well, there we go. Was this board a group buy or something? It was run by Max. It was a small 10-person group buy. I was lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time and get in on it. I'm not going to go accent enter. I'm just going to go for the black enter. And then we split the shift. So I do have the keys for it somewhere. But as I say, we'll just have to go without that for now. Should have been more prepared with the keycaps. I kind of changed the layout just before I did the stream. Originally I was going to have the full 2U shift there. Oh, that switch isn't in properly. Need to revisit that switch. We'll do that in just 1 second. Shift here and then FN. Before we do the sound test, I'm just going to fix that switch and change it back over. Let's get this warmed up again. Fix that one switch. I think it was just not in place when I soldered that in, but it's a very, very quick and easy fix. Love the Metro dash pad. Yep, desk pad. Gib Cypher. No, Cypher's on my shelf. It's not coming down. Sorry, guys. Okay, guys. We're going to just really, really quickly fix that switch. Change that over. I do have another shift key, short shift key somewhere. Let's use a novelty if there is one. There is a novelty. Let's just use a novelty for now, guys. There we go. I should have used the novelty enter actually, shouldn't I? Yeah, let's use the novelty enter, which we're just waiting for that to heat up. Give the keycap pull up, there we go. Okay guys, so let's fix this really quickly. Bring the two keycaps out. Pop them there. Okay, let's just unscrew the board. We'll get to the sound typing test in just a minute, guys. Screws are longer than I remembered. Was stream lagging for anyone else? Sorry if it was. It doesn't look like it was lagging. I think GMK Burgundy would also look good in this case as well. Yeah, it would do probably. Why the arrow cap or code or super on the bottom? I just prefer it. I like to use the arrows because if you're using a vintage set, yeah, that's also true as well. If you are using a vintage set, the arrows will work as well. I just like to use the arrows because I think it looks nice. Okay, so let's just quickly finish taking this apart. Tweak those two switches. So I'm just going to gently pull this off the board. There we go. So this switch just isn't seated correctly. I just didn't spot it during the build. Which one is it now? This one here. I'm just going to remove that. And then we're going to reseat it. Pop the cap on just to make sure it all fits nicely. Much better. And then we're just going to quickly change the capsule cap. There we go. Just going to try and lift up the plate just in between here and here. It's just drifted off. There we go. Let's re-enter this in the full position. I wouldn't advise soldering with keycaps on, guys, unless you can help it. But needs must in these times. I'm just going to solder these really, really quickly now. And again, I shouldn't really be using a soldering iron, a desoldering gun to solder, but we are doing. And then, where is the other switch, guys? There. There we go. Turn it back off. Okay, there we go. Hammond Alphas. Jay, where is the little switch puller tool from? It's from Taobao. I think this one actually came from Max. Or Max might have sent me a green one, I'm not sure. But it's just from Taobao, I think. They sell them on Amazon and everywhere now these days. It's just an IC extractor is what it's called. Okay. Second time doing the case up. This will be the last time, hopefully. And then you guys will get a view of what the board looks like finished. Now we've got the keycap set on it. Going to go diametrically opposed with the screws, as you can see here. Just helps to evenly distribute the weight correctly and the torsion and tension across the case. It's not really needed, but I like to do it just to be on the safe side. Comes from years of rebuilding bloody engines and things like that in cars. Okay, and then over into this corner, and then the last two, and then we'll have a look at the board and do a quick sound typing test. Soldering with a desoldering gun. Yeah, don't do that. It's a really bad idea. About how many key presses would you consider for a switch to be broken? About 10,000. Yeah, about 10,000 presses is probably about right. I've never done any accurate science on it, but I imagine that 10,000 is probably a good number, a good place to start. Yeah, IC removal tool, IC extractors, they're known as a few different things. Langalandia bullying me as well for my choice in tools. So there we go, guys. There we go. What do you think? This is the Profit 60% HHKB consistent mounting. I think the escape key works well because you can see through where there's no plate. You can see the yellow PCB, so I'm going to leave it like that. HHKB layout. You think the black escape? Okay, we can change that. We can change that. Where'd my switch extractor go? There we go. Hope you like that, guys. Matches really well. Also, a really close match with the Ocelot. The colours are almost identical, so it looks great. There we go. GMK Red Sam, slightly shiny as I've used this an awful lot, this key set, but I think it looks great. And then just a reminder of the clean infill on the base, just to match and take it that extra step forward. So I'm really happy with this, guys. I've been looking forward to doing this build since I joined the group buy. I've been looking forward to having one of these boards since Max did the wing keyless version first. I think this looks absolutely stunning. It's an absolutely fantastic little board. Yeah, FN and around here is your arrows usually. So yeah, infill is beautiful. Thank you very much. Wait. FN up, left, right, down, up, left, right, down. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. Typing test, sound test. Yeah, you guys want a sound test? Let's give you a sound test. Let's put the music on mute. You probably can't hear it anyway, but yeah, I'm absolutely blown away by this. Look at how good this looks from a side profile view. Look at that red. That colour is absolutely stunning. From the rear. So there we go. Yeah, I'll program it's QMK compatible as a PCB, so I can change around whatever I want. I'd want control up here anyway. I'll probably put the arrows on WAS and D just because that's where I'm used to that on a 60%. So I'll probably change that around. But yeah, and I'll probably have that as backspace rather than delete. Oh no, in fact I've got back. Maybe I should get used to HHKB backspace. I'm used to having ISO enter here, you see. And I just need to change that from, you've got it as non-US hash, and it should be non-US backslash. But that's just in the layout. It's deadly easy change to make. So I will tweak all of those. But time for a bit of a sound test. Let's give the larger keys a try. Get this underneath the microphone. Hope that sounds okay. So let's do a bit of a typing test. There we go. That sounds really, really nice. That sounds so good. Don't know if you guys can see, it is really consistent in terms of the feel. No matter where you press, you get the same amount of feel. I don't know how well that's... Let me try and zoom in a little bit, actually, guys. I don't usually do this on stream, but let me try and zoom in a little bit. Just show you guys how that is moving. I don't know how visible that is, but there is a bit of movement in there. Max said it's not a flexible thing, it's for typing feel, but it is really consistent. No matter where you type, you're getting pretty much the same feel. Every key feels the same. Certainly every 1U key feels the same. Even around the edges, even when it's in the nylon plate, you're still getting that feel. And remember guys, it's only mounted in 4 points, just the pin mounts there. So there we go. It's not designed for flex. No, it's just really consistent, but it is really, really consistent. If you want to see a board designed for flex, now I've got the camera zoomed in, I can re-bring out the Secret 60. So guys, bear in mind, if I can get both of these on screen at the same time, bear in mind Max's is designed for consistency. And you can still see some flex in that. This same typing pressure, can you see how much that bounces? Max's version, some movement, but just nice and consistent. This one is just all over the shop. It's just like, it's like typing on a spring-loaded machine gun. It's crazy. So yeah, as Max said, his isn't designed for flex. It's designed for look and feel. And there you go, guys. That is the board, all fully built up. Now we're zoomed in as well. I'll show you the Profit logo on the bottom again. Just nice and neat. How neat does that look? How good does that look? Bit of infill, guys. You guys can do this. If you want to see the infill, you can do it dead easy. Took me 2 minutes of time to do that, 10 minutes to dry it, and then 2 minutes to clean it up again. I know I need to clean off the rest of the bottom of it, but you can see there's a black smudge just around here. But, you know, dead easy. Dead easy. So there we go, guys. That's the board built. All good to go. I'm going to use this as my daily board for the next couple of weeks. Max's other board, the ANSI, is just there, so let's just zoom back out. There we go. This is the ANSI board that's just here. So there we go, guys. If you guys have got any questions, now is the time to ask them. I'm going to try and catch up. The rose gold ones are beautiful. I think I prefer this to the rose gold. Very nice sound, yeah. There's that red space bar, sounds scratchy at all. No, it is touching on the nylon plate though in places. There's no scratch to it. I'll have a look at that later on. It's dead easy to fix on this because you can get right into it. Profit is so muted, real good and nice. Yeah, it's really nice. Max has a board designed for flex coming. Nice. Max, you know I'm always in for your boards. Danger flex on the other board, yeah, clap, clap, clap. You can do a family picture. Yeah, I should get all 3 of the boards together. Cypher's not got any keycaps on at the minute. Should I grab Cypher and have a West Foxtrot design studios kind of layout? There you go, guys. This is all 3 of Max's boards on stream at one time. So we've got the ANSI in aubergine. We've got the Profit in this lovely red colour, and then we've got the Cypher in black with a pink base. But there we go. Well, I can grab hold of it, Max. Took me 2 seconds. It's probably the first time anyone's had all 3 on a screen, I think. But there we go. These are all West Foxtrot's designs. As I'm sure you'll agree, guys, his stuff is worth watching out for. This is going into group buy soon, so this has got polycarbonate plate, Cypher, mini 1800 layout style board. So yeah, that's going to be around soon. So if you guys want to check that out, do check out that group buy for that. It's going to be on mykeyboard.eu. Don't know if there's any other volumes involved. I don't think so. So yeah, so Alchemist KB is the guy behind the Rain Spicy as well. Wife took her Cypher to Japan, so I haven't even done this. LOL. So even Max hasn't got all 3 together. But there you go. Max, I just need a Lockheed now, dude. I just need the Lockheed to replace the Ocelot. A Lockheed in this colour. That's what I need. That is what I need, dude. I don't care what it costs. That's what I need. So there we go, guys. Last shout for any questions. If you've got any questions, get them in now. We'll be ending the stream in just a couple of minutes. We'll see what you guys think. Domino, yeah, Domino soon. That's Max's next board, I believe. Yes, we'll look at that when that comes out. But I will definitely be trying to buy most of Max's boards going forwards, if not all of them. I think this is definitely my favourite so far. Hard picked between the other two. I use this at work a fair amount. This is at work quite a lot. Can you left align them to compare the lengths? Sure, I can. So I just don't want to scratch any of the anodes against each other. So I know this isn't in size order, but there you go, guys. So you got 60, 65, and then mini 1800, which is, well, 65's here, so it's 3U longer than a 65. Is it just me as the Prophet colour match the Metropolis red rust colour? Kind of. It kind of matches. Using this as a view is for colours is very bad. It's not quite the same. Prophet too good. Prophet best. Yeah, Prophet's amazing. I really like it. You're right, Max. It's not soft in terms of the bottom out. In terms of like being for flex, it's just comfortable to type on, which is probably what I've been missing from flexible builds. Like the Secret 60 was way more flexible, but I think I definitely prefer this approach. That's just my personal feel. Cypher and Prophet look so small compared to Anzi. Yeah, Anzi is taller that way as well, so this is going to be difficult to show you, but if I just do this, you can see that there's a difference in the height of the board there, probably half a centimetre. And then if I do this, I think these are about the same. Yeah, these are roughly the same. I think this is slightly larger. It's maybe a millimetre larger, something like that. I don't know, 1.5 something. But it's just because you've got a thicker bezel here and a thicker bezel there. But it looks less because this is actually angled on the bezels. If I hold it up to the screen, you can see there's an angle on. If I get on camera, you can see there's an angle on there. Hold on. Zoom in, come on camera, there we go. You can see there's the bezel on here, which makes it look smaller than it is. So there we go, guys. That is all three of West Foxtrot's boards, but this is the star of the show. This is what we've been building today. So there we go. With the wife designed a better keyboard than me. Is a Secret 60 the IDB 60 prototype? Yes, it is. That's the IDB 60 prototype, yes. Cypher best layout. It's a good layout. Yeah, it's a really good layout. Pona wants to marry West Foxtrot. Nice to see a proposal on stream, guys. That's really good. Wish I'd grabbed some extra Sirius plates, but by the time I thought better of it, poof. Yeah, I've got my Sirius up on the wall. I used it for a couple of days, and then I've jumped back onto the Anzi for the past couple of days. But this is going to be my board going forward for a good while, I think. Yeah, I'm really excited to use this a lot. All three look really nice. Yeah, they're all absolutely lovely bits of kit. I'm glad I have them. I think if I had to sell all my boards, I'd probably just keep the ones that Max, Pingu and I've designed, purely because we're all in the EU, really good friends with them both. Yeah, just something I'd have to consider. But there we go. Right, guys, I think that's it. I think I've covered everything I wanted to on stream today. There's nothing else I wanted to cover. We covered the inks, we covered GMK Shoko, we covered the Secret 60, which is the IDB 60 prototype. We covered the Prophet, we covered logo infill, fully packed stream, 2 hours and 10 minutes. I hope you really enjoyed that, guys. I really enjoyed being here for you, but with that, we are going to call it a night. I'll see you again on Thursday if you're going to watch the show, or on the VOD if you're watching it afterwards. Hopefully we'll have a lot more news for you. Potentially we might have some new elements of Top Clack to take a look at by that point, maybe the week after. And I'll be back next week with a build from Pona. So Pona's in chat. I'll be building the Equinox, which is a 40% with ISO support, which is PCB mounted. So that's going to be on stream next Sunday. That's also a red board, so I need to find another key set that'll go with the red board. But we'll see what we can do. So yeah, I'll catch you guys around, and I'll see you later.